welcome to Season 2, Episode 9. This is the first episode that we're going to record for both YouTube and for the podcast service, so hopefully some of you are new to the podcast, are found us via iTunes or Spotify. Those who still listen on YouTube will obviously get a longer episode with more songs that we can't include on the show. Okay, let's kick it off. This is ThrasherWolf and this is the Vortex. And next up, leading us into our interview with Unburier, this is Ingsoc by Havoc.
Started to feel
Okay, this week in the studio, we welcome Somerset Thrashers Unburier. Hello, lads, you all right?
Yeah, good to you.
Yeah,
All right.
not too bad. Okay, so if you'd like to introduce yourselves, kind of say what you do in the band, and I suppose you better mention Jamie, as he couldn't get out of bed to join us.
So I'm Ben, and I play guitar and vocals.
I'm Rob, I play drums.
Okay, so...
And Jamie plays bass.
Oh, yeah, we forgot about him already, didn't we?
Yeah.
So give us a bit of history about the band, kind of how long you've been together, when did you form, all that sort of stuff.
So me and Rob have been jamming since we were like 12, and that was nothing really serious, but nothing happened from there until about back end of 2018, and Jamie started playing bass, and then Josh joined in 2019, and then we started like finishing off some songs, and then we basically recorded a demo, and that was the start of Unburier.
So for anyone who's not heard your music yet, even though we've shared the shit, describe the Unburier sound. What how do you kind of pitch yourself as a sounding band?
I mean, just kind of like just a thrash band, but we try and take as much other influences as possible, kind of maybe along like the kind of death metal side a little bit, and some groove kind of sections, like more in some of the newer songs we're writing. But yeah, just thrash, I guess.
What do you mean by groove? Sort of Pantera-y sort of groove, or Siderian, or where do you sit on the groove spectrum?
We've got like a like a Chaos AD kind of Sepultura bit in one of the new songs, like a nice heavy midsection, I guess you could call it. I'm trying to incorporate different things.
Okay, cool. So for the first time for this interview, we tried something new. So we've been out and asked some of our followers on Instagram if they got some questions for you. So instead of doing the normal questions, we thought we'd run through the questions from the audience. So we're starting off with Owen Moody. He's asking how you've been coping with this shit show pandemic.
It's been alright, just kind of bored, but just been written bits here and there, but I've been more like practicing my lead chops just because it's something I neglected for a bit, so I've just been just getting the shred game up really, and that's kind of what my pandemic is consisted of.
And Rob?
So yeah, just practicing drums. I've got like an electric kit, but haven't played the acoustic kit in like 4 months, so I'm looking forward to doing that again, but apart from that, not much really.
So Rodriguez Marquez 121, he's asking about your influences. So what are the influences from you guys as a band? I know obviously Ben, you're a massive Metallica fan because you've got the guitars and you've got the the shape, but what other influences have you guys got?
So I'd say so obviously Metallica, Slayer, just the big four really, so Megadeth, Anthrax. Then in terms of newer bands like Havoc, Bull Riff Stampede, and then, well, they're not new, but Zentrix and everything kind of like that, and Exodus being a big one as well.
Rob?
Mine's probably the same as Ben, to be fair, like all of the big four, especially like Havoc and Zentrix, like especially Bury the Pain. It's a good album. And just bands like that really. And Bull Riff Stampede.
Do you guys listen to music kind of based on the instruments you play? So do you listen out specifically for the drums, Rob, and things like that? Is that kind of something that influences when you listen as well, or do you just kind of try and pull away from the player's mind and just listen to the whole thing?
I think like I can't really listen to a band if it has like shit drums, I guess. But it's like even kind of stuff like Sound of Perseverance, where Death, like it's a banging album, but Richard Christie, he was doing all sorts, and it sounds a little bit too much sometimes. But it's like I really got into Human and Symbolic, like Death albums, because of Sean and Gene Hoglan's drumming. Really influenced me, I guess you could say.
So it does have a bit of an influence onto the type of thrash and kind of tension on death metal there. What about you, Ben?
Yeah.
Do you still, obviously ripping off riffs all over the place, but you're kind of.
I'd say I listen to music as a whole. I'm just like an instrument fan, you know. So I love like drums and bass and even vocals. You know, I mean, I'm not doing them, but like the sound of them. You know, it's I listen to music from a overall
musician
view. Yeah, so I like bass lines. I like cool drumming. You know.
I agree.
Does that also kind of lead into production styles and things like that? Do you see things and listen to things with we really like that sound, and if we could try and get that sort of What sort of bands is that at the moment? You know, what's the sort of the sounds you're going to try and get for?
Yeah. So hopefully for like next releases, stuff like the Exodus, like Andy Sneap style production, we really like, and then Havoc and even Zentric's latest album. I think the production, that was actually Andy Sneap as well, but I just think the production on that is insane.
Music like that is just meant to have good production, really.
Okay, so you just kind of touched on that. So we got a question from Riley Hilton about, are you planning to release some new music?
Yeah, good question. Basically, we were thinking about doing an EP, like we spoke to you about before, but we've decided to just like fuck it and go for a full album. And yeah, we've got a few songs to go, and then hopefully we can get out sometime next year.
So that's the plan, is it? Kind of early 21 or something like that for a...
Yeah,
just maybe not early 21, but
okay. Sometime
just 21. But it's because especially and it's just because Thrasher's God was just a demo, so our songs have changed a bit. Like, I don't know if you know, so when we play them live, some parts are a bit different, and yeah, I think we just needed to do it justice and re-record the songs and put them in an album.
And obviously, being a three-piece at the moment, that changes your sound a bit as well, I guess, since you went back down to being a three-piece.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think we're going to let it change any studio stuff, though, because I still want the harmonies and all that stuff. It's just be a bit more stripped back live for the time being, I guess.
So you'll consider, even if the worst case scenario, either borrowing someone or, you know, doing double layers yourself and doing both guitar parts, rhythm and lead.
So I've got a mate up north, and spoke to him about him coming down and just doing solos like where Josh would have previously done them. So just to keep that, like, because I'm a big fan of like the trading off licks type thing, like solo for solo type business. Yeah, so just thought if we can do that, and then obviously I'll just lay down all the rhythm tracks and stuff like that, and just all have all the harmonies like, you know, they were intended in the first place, and then live we'll just do it one guitar.
And that leads us on to the next question. So it's come from the Health Vectored account, but we know it's Liam. He's asking you how the search for new members is going, because obviously we consistently see, not so much now because you only ever post when you've had a shit gig that you want a new vocalist. How's the search going, and what's the priority, vocalist or guitarist?
Vocalist.
No, definitely vocalist.
Have you had enough of him as now, Rob? It's not that you can't, it's just had enough of him complaining about it.
Nah, I think his vocals sound good, but it's just his technique's a bit shit, and he's blowing his voice like all the time. So it's just it just seems a bit pointless for him to stay as the vocalist if his voice is just gonna keep getting fucked.
Yeah, I was going through our Instagram like memories type thing. It was 3 days after we recorded the demo. I put up a post all looking for a vocalist. but
wow.
Yeah, so
how time flies.
Yeah, and it's just I was kind of just getting burnt out, and I wasn't enjoying gigs as much as I was like in the first place. Because at first it was like the adrenaline of playing live and like a new experience. But as you kind of do it more, and then I just really got fed up, and then I was just trying my best to keep it going, but it's just like, don't want to do it.
Is part of that as well, you know, you were saying about you kind of you've not been practicing guitar enough, and you maybe let your chops go down a bit. Is part of that because you've been oversimplifying things because you want to, you're concentrating on the vocals and maybe overcompensating on the vocals and not putting the guitar work in?
I'll spend a lot of time like just practicing, like playing along, because if I don't do vocals enough, then like my throat hurts even more type thing. But it's not that I never under practice guitar. It's just when I pick up a guitar, like the first thing I'll do is just riff, and I'll just just play riffs and write riffs and stuff like that. But it's just playing solos is like one of those things. Like I did it here and there, but it's like I just decided, I really want to get better at lead solos. So I just need to sit down and just make a conscious effort for when I sit down to just play solos rather than just doing the same, writing riffs and just playing all the riffs.
So what you're looking for in a vocalist then? What sort of style you after? Kind of someone who can replicate similar to what you did, or have you got other kind of influences that you can kind of take all sorts?
Yeah, kind of. Obviously, you don't want to stray too far from like what is already there, but I think hopefully it's more just, I guess, just shouting in there, aggressive shouting, and it's just it should be all right. But we're not looking for like singing,
Right. So we had a quite a bizarre question from B Moods 1999. Do you reckon you'll end up or give yourself stage names in the future?
I mean, like, probably not. I'm gonna say no. Sorry.
You had Sideshow Bob. There's got to be.
I'm sure we can work on it.
I'm not sure really what he meant. I don't know. Are you expecting? We're not going for like full Kiss makeup and platform platform shoes or anything, are we?
Oh, I don't know. We spoke about it a few times. It's a possible direction for us.
Or I'm not sure which way. I don't know if he was going glam rock or corpse paint. Maybe champion throat ripper and another question was from Pavement 12344. He's asking, why are you one of the only bands from the scene with good songwriting? I think that's a compliment to you and probably a slight at everyone else who's writing music at the moment. But
yeah, I don't know really. Just I think it all comes down to the riffs and the arranging and structure at the end of the day, doesn't it? And then kind of build on it from there. So it's not just piling riffs together. It's the actual transitions between riffs and how it all fits together, because you could easily just go, right, I'm just going to have a riff here and then a riff there, another riff there, but once you sit down and you really work at it, I guess that's what I've got to say, really.
But as well, I think we're quite hard on ourselves. Like, if we're not happy with something, even though, like, let's say two of us think something sounds good, but then if one of us thinks it sounds a bit shit, we won't use it. That's why writing songs takes not like long, but we try and just get it as perfect as it can be.
Yeah, there's a bit of inbuilt quality control there that stops it, releasing any old shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Just don't want to have anything.
No substandard riffage.
Yeah, exactly.
What about lyrical content? Where you getting inspiration at the moment for writing lyrics, or I guess nowhere at the moment. Every song that's going to come out in the next 6 months is about lockdown. But what have you got? Have you been taking inspiration from other places, or where do you get inspiration for lyrics from?
I mean, personally, from my lyric writing on the demo, it was a bit blanket. Apart from Reform, which is about the book 1984, and Leviathan, which is self-explanatory. The Commandment and 7.5 were kind of very blanket lyrics, like you can kind of apply them to anywhere, and didn't really make too much sense. So I think we're trying to stay away from like the political kind of lyrics and write more war-based ones.
Okay, so
more violence.
You just mentioned it there, Rob. Quite, I guess, fairly unusually, as the drummer, are you still kind of main songwriter? I know you did most of the stuff for Thrashers Gold. Are you kind of still the main songwriter in the band?
Yeah, I did all the ones for Thrashers Gold, but Jamie's trying to do one of them for the new album, but mainly I guess I am. I had two finished, but I think they need a little bit of tweaking.
So how do you write? Are you writing on guitar, Rob, or do you kind of just you dust off a little Casio keyboard on your knee, or how does that work for you? You kind of are you a closet guitarist?
Yeah, no, I play more like a bedroom guitarist, I guess. I just play at home, but I write a few riffs here and there. like 7.5 is a lot of it was. Can you say a lot of it was my riffs?
Nah,
it was like
three. Yeah, 3 riffs, I think.
Lyric wise, I don't know. I think of like a phrase in my head, and if it sounds cool, I'll just try and work around it and try and work it into a sentence. And I guess it kind of goes from there.
Yeah, so you don't set out with a topic and build it from there. You kind of sometimes just start with something you've heard or something that gets said and build a song out of it.
Yeah, that's what I was doing for the Thrashers Gold ones, but that's kind of how they became so vague, because I didn't really have a proper topic in mind.
Right.
For the new ones, I've had a topic in mind, and I've kind of just kept it to that topic and not kind of gone off anywhere else.
What's next? These are my questions again now. So what's next for you guys? Obviously, gigs have been a bit shit. You had lots of stuff planned.
They're doing a few things at the Coalstones as well, and we do have 2, like Slaughterfest and Heavy Fest, Southwest Heavy Fest. They're still there, but I don't think it will happen. But yeah, we kind of got stuck in a bit of a bad situation throughout lockdown, because we were kind of surviving off the gigs, trying to keep ourselves relevant with the gigs, and then gigs went, and then we had nothing really to promote, and it's just kind of a bit difficult. So we're just trying to get ourselves together, and then we got our first practice on Saturday. So hopefully we can get tight again, and then try get out and get a gig in or something.
Yeah, I guess some bands were really lucky, weren't they? They've just come out of the studio, and everything had been done, and all they've done during lockdown is mastering, and then the marketing and doing album release. But you were kind of in between everything. You were relying, I guess, on this summer for gigs, and then kind of releasing new material towards the end of the year, I think was.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, being at home a lot, it's allowed you to probably listen to more music than you've ever had a chance to do in your whole life. What's what you've been listening to at the moment? Any new stuff you've been listening to? New albums, new bands?
My main kind of albums, metal-wise, is just it's a lot of like Human by Death, Symbolic by Death. Got Scatter the Ground by Bullriff, and I've been listening to a lot of post-2000s Exodus, like Exhibit A, Exhibit B, stuff like that.
For me, V by Havoc was a big one, like came out during lockdown. I just listened to the shit out of that, it's literally there's no back to back. But the new Onslaught single I really liked, and then the new Shrapnel album as well. I've been listening to that, and then apart from that, I just started listening to a lot of Metallica again, because I listened to loads of it, but then you start to discover new bands. I hadn't listened to them for a bit, but I've been really on a Metallica binge recently.
What era? Early stuff or everything?
Oh yeah. Early stuff, like up to the Black Album, really.
What about the other stuff that's been out? Kind of you listen to like Warbringer, New Sepultura, all that sort of stuff. You managed to?
I've heard a few. I've listened to both albums, but I haven't haven't listened to them loads and loads and loads. Just given them a few spins. What
about the UK bands at the moment? Who you've been? Is there anyone you've been kind of seeing their new albums? Anything you've been listening to from the kind of the UK bands of the kind of same sort of level as yourself? Those kind of trying to break into the scene and metal to the mass level bands. What you've been listening to, or who have you seen kind of kicking around?
Shrapnel, definitely. They're kind
Cryptic
of like
Shift.
the big dogs, aren't they? Shrapnel, and they're still a Cryptic Shift. To be fair, they're kind of doing well. But Riptide with their new single, I really like that. And what else? The Hell Factor album's been out for a while now, but been listening to that.
So on that front, is there any kind of any bands around the UK that you'd like to get out and support, or at least kind of do a gig with? I think I was speaking to the Cryptic Shift guys last week, and they were saying it's really important to especially when you can start driving, get yourselves in a car and escape from your local area and just kind of force yourself on people and go and do gigs. Is there anywhere you'd like to kind of go next year, and anywhere you kind of want to play, and with who?
I think obviously the dream one would be Zentrix, but that's obviously quite a long shot. But I'd really like to gig with Cryptic Shift and Shrapnel. That'd be the dream, I guess, for 2021.
Yeah, and like maybe Acid Rain. I just want to go to. I really want to go to Manchester as well.
Yeah,
bits like that.
definitely.
Rebellion, just with the 0161 community, because they've kind of got it all going on up there, haven't they? But it will be made easier, especially as I've passed my tests and stuff like that, and we can all get in my car and just go for it.
Yeah, I guess that will make a big difference. You've not managed to get much of the benefit out of that, because I think you'd only just passed us when we went to see Exodus, didn't we?
Yeah, so I passed end of January, so it's like my first, literally was like the last couple of days of January, so February. Yeah, I pretty much got locked down after like a month of driving.
I felt much safer on the roads of Yeovil without you being there, mate. It's fine. What about you, Rob? You kind of got anyone else you fancy going out on tour with? Anyone else you fancy supporting? Or locations?
I think, well, location-wise, I think the Rebellion, it just looks pretty sick there. And obviously, Bloodstock, that'd be really sick, like from Metal to the Masses. How does Metal to the Masses roll over into next year? Are you kind of automatically through to next year where you've got to reapply and all that sort of stuff, or has it been a bit kind of not communicated?
Oh no, we haven't. I haven't had anything. So
I've just heard it's going to be bigger. That's all said. I think
there's an extra day. There's an extra day, isn't there, for the festival itself?
I'm thinking they might do like maybe two winners from each region then.
That'd be ideal.
Sure. That's what I was just thinking, but just speculation in my head.
Properly made up.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, where do we find you guys online? Where's your social? What do people need to put my teeth in? What do people need to search for if they're looking for you?
Unburier, really.
Yeah, just Unburier on everything. Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, all of the streaming services.
Finally, anything else you'd like to say? Shout outs, plugs? Obviously, you've got nothing to flog at the minute, so... but...
No. Don't know, one day we'll have, like, good quality music and maybe some t-shirts.
And album and merch will probably come out around the same time in 2021. We've got no clue when that is yet. So,
and hopefully we can get a vocalist. Yeah.
Just look, go for some lessons and just accept it's your job. You stop fucking trying to palm it off on other people. Guys, thanks for having a chat with us. I'll catch up with you soon. And now you're 18, you can buy me a pint, Ben. That's fucking brilliant.
Yeah. Don't know, I'll be drinking again for a while, but...
Thanks, guys. Look after yourselves.
Yeah, Andrew.
Cheers.
cherish, and it's closer, you all shall perish. Looking up the same thing, left and left for a night. Always to be where you call home, when democracy is overthrown.
That was Unburier and Commandment, and this is Exodus and 44 Magnum Opus. And that's the end of the show. Thank you for joining us at UK Thrashers, our social media stream, ukthrashers.org if you want to know anything or see the website. See you next week.